In a previous video, I discussed experimenting with dynamics and balance between the hands in order to grow your range as a pianist. Today I'll talk more about ways to approach this if you're having trouble making the two hands independent. In music, we often want to play our melody louder than the accompaniment. The melody is usually in the right hand and the accompaniment is usually in the left hand, but that's not always the case. If the melody is in the left hand, of course we would definitely want to play the left hand louder than the accompaniment if that was our intent. When playing two hands at the same time as a beginner, intermediate, or even advanced player, you may have a lot of trouble playing the two hands at different dynamic levels. It may sound kind of mezzo fortissimo, as a joke I heard once. It may sound all the same. In order to try to make the two hands play at different dynamic volumes at the same time, it is often useful to first, before playing on the piano keys, to experiment with pushing into your leg and pushing the fingers that you're going to be using into your thighs, your knees, or your leg of any part, and making the melody hand much firmer and deeper into your thighs, and making the accompanying hand superficial, shallow, and gentle in your other leg. The thought process is that by pushing into your legs, you'll feel how hard you're pushing within your fingers, but also feel the pressure coming from inside your own body. You'll be able to feel through your legs how hard you're pushing with your fingers, and you'll have a feedback loop between what you're trying to do with your hands and what you're actually doing. By feeling the pressure through your legs, you can make sure that one hand is actually pushing harder than the other. Once you've done that a little bit, try it on the keys. And at first, just try a single note. Push into your leg, and then try on the keys. Now that I've made the right hand louder on this first chord and first melody note, I'll try the opposite on my leg and see if it can transfer. The sound was there in the right hand. It was just very, very different than the left hand amount of pressure. If pushing into your leg doesn't help, and you want to try something else other than leg piano, try air piano. Whenever playing air piano, of course, you'll be doing the same thing, trying to play the real fingers in the real order that you'll use when playing the music. The difference here is that instead of having a feedback loop between your inner perception of your legs and how much force you think you're putting through your fingers, you'll have a sense of how far you're pushing and how much you are following through with your motions. For the hand that is going to be playing louder, move the fingers, but also push with the arm so that at the same time that the finger has its action, the arm is also being pressed. Whenever the left hand does its air piano, just move the fingers slightly, but do not push with the arm. Whenever we transfer this to the actual piano keys, the hand that is supposed to be louder can still have this arm pressure, and when doing it on the keys, pretend that the louder hand is trying to push through the key all the way down into the wood that is beneath the piano key. And if that doesn't work, pretend that you're trying to push the key down through the wood, and you're pretending that you're going to be pushing all the way to the floor. So our hand that is going to have the louder sound will be trying to play very loud and very deep. The hand that is not going to have the louder sound could be played, again, just with a very small motion, perhaps a very superficial touch that doesn't even push the key all the way down. Whenever you play on an acoustic piano or a piano that is not the most sensitive, playing superficially like this can be a really bad idea because some of the notes won't make any sound. But even if that happens while you're trying to learn how to play your accompaniments softly, you'll still know that even if some of the notes are dropped, you're still moving in the right direction of making one hand loud and one hand soft. So don't worry about it at first. Just keep trying to make the big contrast between the two hands, even if the accompanying notes are sometimes dropped. Eventually, you can get used to always playing the accompaniment to the middle of the key at least, to what's called the escapement point, which is a feeling, a place in the key action that is evident when pushing the key down. On an acoustic piano, you can feel this for sure, that as you push the key down, there's a point at which the hammer leaves its starting position and is flung toward the string and is now no longer under your control. Whenever you push the key down on an acoustic piano, you will feel a notch about halfway down called the escapement point, which is where you no longer have control over the striking of the hammer. If you play your superficial, gentle, soft accompanying passages at least that far, you should be able to make a sound pretty much all the time. Let's experiment now with playing melody louder than accompaniment or accompaniment louder than melody. Good luck doing leg piano and then transferring to the keys, or doing air piano and then transferring to the keys. This challenge is something that's not just playing one hand and playing the other hand. It is much more difficult than that. To play two hands with contrasting dynamics simultaneously, it could be considered 4 times as difficult as playing one hand at a time, or 8 times as difficult. So don't be disappointed if whenever you're learning how to do this, it really feels like a challenge. And again, you can start with just a single note. To experiment with at first. If you're never able to play one hand louder than the other and you're feeling like giving up, there's an intermediate step you can try, and that is to play the soft notes before you play the loud ones. That will start to get you closer to an approximation of playing different volumes in the two hands. Be aware that whenever you play softly, in general, there can be a feeling that you have to push the key down very, very slightly before the beat in order for the sound to begin at the right time. Because when you play softly, you are generally playing the key slower, there might be a feeling that you need to play the note a little before the beat for it to sound at the right time. Conversely, when playing loudly, you'll be pushing the key down very quickly. And if you let your fingers run away from you, your whole piece of music might become too quick. Your tempo could change because the feeling of playing loudly will make your fingers speed up. So whenever you play loudly, try to play your notes right on top of the beat. Only push the key down at the very last possible moment, because you'll be pushing the key down so quickly that it'll be easy to rush. So playing softly feels like you could be pushing the keys down before the beat, and playing loudly could feel like you're pushing the keys down right on the beat at the very last possible instance.